Hi guys, this is Ashley with Sublime Review. Welcome to my channel and thank you so much for checking out my Shang-Chi review. Now, I know Shang-Chi has been out for a little while, but I still wanted to talk about this movie. So look forward to this review. First off, let's talk about the MCU and the content it's released so far. So far, I'm really enjoying the MCU or the Disney Plus shows. You know, we have WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki, and right now What If is out, and I've been enjoying What If. Yeah, the MCU has been bringing it in terms of the shows. Black Widow was a bit of a disappointment, unfortunately. So when Shang-Chi was finally released, I was like, okay, hopefully Shang-Chi can kind of bring us back to what the MCU was with their films. And I have to say that it was. Is it the best Marvel movie? No, but I do think it brought us something new. I think that it helped reinvigorate the MCU. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So, a little brief synopsis of the movie. After living away from his family for 10 years, Shang-Chi is forced to confront his past when he is once again drawn into his father's 10 Rings organization. Now, I'm going to just break this movie down, or this review down, into the good and the bad, and I am going to avoid spoilers at this point. Maybe I don't think I'll probably do like a spoiler review unless somebody asks for it, but I'll just stick with the non-spoilers. And there might be actually there might be like some slight spoilers, and if there are, I will let you know. So first off, the good, again, like I said, it reinvigorates the MCU. It reminds me of what the Guardians of the Galaxy brought, Thor Ragnarok, Doctor Strange, the MCU shows. Like, these are all movies or shows that, you know, the movies and shows have brought us like some new genres for us. And Shang-Chi, they brought us like martial arts. Like, the martial arts is really good. Probably not the best martial arts out there, but I think it's great. I don't think that the MCU has really brought us like great fight choreography. I think the only movie that's really done that is was it Captain America Winter Soldier. So I would compare it to that in terms of like the fight choreography. This choreography though in this movie too, like there was some like dance like choreography, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. But it was very hard hitting, it was very impactful, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. Visually, I think that this movie can be very stunning. I think the CGI works better in this movie than it does in most Marvel movies. If you've watched any Marvel movie, you know that they kind of end with like a big battle, big CGI fest. And I have to say that the CGI in this one, it was really good. Although I didn't necessarily care for the end of the movie. And I'll talk about that as well later on in this review. So the things that just stood out the most to me in terms of what was good were the characters. Let's talk about Tony Leung as Wen Wu. He plays as Shang-Chi's father. This guy is fantastic. He's incredible to watch on screen. Like, his acting is top notch. He is definitely one of my favorite characters in this movie, and he elevates the film. Every time he shows up on the screen, he kind of steals the show for me, even from other characters that I really, really like. I think that his fight choreography, like his like how he fought and stuff, was really good as well. But mostly it was just his acting. Like, his character is ruthless. He's a bit brutal, but when he's interacting with his son, he has a softness to him. And I think that Tony Leung does such a good job of balancing that softness and that ruthlessness that is required of his character. Yeah, he was great. Like, I'm not sure if another character would have been able to do that the way he did. I loved it. You know, I really loved him in the screen. Like, he's, again, like I said, like the best part of it. His relationship with his wife too, speaking of his brutalness, his softness when he was also with his wife. Like, he has this way of just like emoting with his eyes. Like, he really emotes like through his eyes, through his face, through his body. And so I really feel like he really embraced what this character could be, and he gave us the best version of this character. Loved it. I did think it was weird though, his relationship with his daughter. Now, he and his daughter, he doesn't really acknowledge her, mostly because she's a girl, and the idea is because she reminds him of his wife who has passed. And I'm like, okay, but at the same time, there's another character in the movie who said that Shang-Chi looks like his mother. And so I'm like, you can handle Shang-Chi, but you don't care for your daughter. Like, that's really weird. If they both look like their mom, then why are you ignoring one over the other? And you can say like, oh, it's because it's a girl, but I also wonder if it's a script issue as well, because he would like straight up not acknowledge her character, and they really wouldn't interact. I don't think they interacted at all in this movie, like had any real significant interactions like he has with Shang-Chi. And it was so weird to me. I'm like, why is he just straight up ignoring this character? So I'm going to kind of put that on the writers, for not really writing out scenes and stuff between Tony Leung. My computer wants to act weird. Between Tony Leung and Ming'er Zhang's character. That's the actress who plays his daughter. Just weird to me. But other than that, his interactions with any other characters were great. Even with Aquafina's character, Katie, who is kind of like Shang-Chi's sidekick in a way. But I like that he acknowledged her. And so it becomes even weirder when he doesn't actually acknowledge his daughter. Second favorite character was Ming'er Zhang, who plays Xialing. That is Shang-Chi's sister. She was really cool. I loved her martial arts. I think that she has a great physicality. I liked her acting. I liked how she interacted with Shang-Chi. She reminds me a bit of Florence Pugh's Yelena in Black Widow. And to me, Yelena was one of the best things that came out of the Black Widow movie. Like, she carried that movie on her back. So, Xialing, Shang-Chi's sister, she also, has that similar vibe to Yelena. Like, both those characters are very tough. They're badass women. Like, they can fight, they can throw people on the ground, like they can mess people up, but they also have this softness to them. They have this honesty about them where they are very honest with their feelings, and they're more than willing to share how they feel with other people. So like Ming-Er is very bitter against her father and her brother, particularly her brother for leaving her at a young age with her father. And she really points that out. Although I think that by the time we get to the second, third act, they kind of just drop her in the story. And I didn't like that at all. I would have liked there to be a little bit more consistency with her character throughout the movie. Because again, she was one of my favorite characters. So hopefully we get a little bit more of her. I also liked her interactions with other characters when she was actually interacting with them. So maybe it's not just a Xialing Wenwu situation where, the father was just ignoring her. And I think that was an issue with the writers. I think there were other moments where she was just not really, again, like I said, they dropped her character, so she wasn't really interacting with other characters once we got through the second half of the movie. And I'm like, did they forget about her character? They must have forgot about her character. I'm talking about the writers, because, where, give us more Xialing, come on. But when she was interacting with characters like her brother or Katie, I really liked that. Very briefly, I want to talk about Fala Chen as Ying Li. She plays Shang-Chi's mother, Shang-Chi and Xialing's mom. And Michelle Yeoh as Ying Nan. She plays their aunt. Great women. I can't help but notice that the older Chinese actors kind of bring this brevity to the film. They really heighten this movie, elevate it, make it feel like top-notch quality movie material to me. Both these actresses are great on screen when they kind of have small roles. Fala Chen as Ying Li is so lovely to watch. She has this great fighting scene with Wen Wu, where they basically like fall in love. It surprisingly, this movie could be really romantic. You know, they pretty much fall in love during this like great scene, and I'm like, yeah, I love her. I understand why he fell in love with her character. She's really good in this. And Michelle Yeoh as well. I liked how her character was loving and welcoming, and I also like her choreography. You could see that these two, you know, these two sisters were like very much, they're like two sides of the same. They're like, you can tell that they're sisters because they kind of have this same type of choreography and feel to them, and I like that I like how they supported Shang-Chi. I thought they were great additions to this movie. There was also Ben Kingsley as Trevor Slattery. To me, he was the one who brought like the actual funny to the movie. I liked his interactions with Katie. That was Aquafina's character. He was honestly just brought in here to make jokes, to be something funny in the movie. And I liked it. It maybe they went a little overboard at times with the jokes, where it wasn't really needed, but he got a lot of laughs out of everyone in the theaters when I watched it. And then one last person, Aquafina as Katie. I liked her character as well. She did have her jokes, but I was surprised at how much she had like her serious moments. She's very much a ride or die type of friend to Shang-Chi, and I like that about her character. I feel like for a lot of these like Marvel movies that have, you know, these male characters as leads, the female characters who are supporting don't really have a lot to do. But it's not so much the case with Katie. Like, they give her stuff to do. They give her a personality that, you know, I can really gel with. Although I have to say that in the end, there's like this big battle, which is, you know, the usual case for Marvel movies. And Katie joins the battle, and that is when I'm like, really? Is she really capable of joining this battle? Like, she has no formal training or anything. So I'm not sure how she was able to join that. That part I was like, I don't really care for that. But other than that, I really enjoyed what they did with her character. I thought she was great. I thought that she was great with like Aquafina and Simu Liu have a lot of chemistry together. And I thought that she pulled a lot out of him, which, you know, let's get into Simu Liu as Shang-Chi. Honestly, I'm a little mixed about his character. Now, I think his physicality is great. I think that physically what he brings as an action character works. But I think that in terms of his acting, it was a little bland to me. It's when he's playing off characters, you know, playing off actors like Aquafina and Tony Leung is where I felt the most out of him. When he was by himself, that's when I wasn't really all that interested as to what was happening on the screen. To be honest about that. So I don't know. I feel like I think that I think he's good at this as this character. I just want to see more out of him. I want to see why he has a lot of support in this movie. And so when they do have moments where he's by himself, I want to see why he's Shang-Chi. And that's all I'll say about his performance. Again, mixed performances because I like some aspects of him, and other aspects like his acting I didn't really care for. But I'm willing to give him a chance. He's not going anywhere or anything like that, but I'm willing to give him a chance to see what else he can bring, because I really like Simu Liu, like the person. He's a really cool person. Like, I love when he's on social media and stuff like that. He's very active. So I just want to see more of his personality that he has in real life in his character, you know, when he's on his own. All right. The other thing I'm very mixed about, and this also kind of goes into the bad, is the script. Now, I like the fact that they do acknowledge Iron Man. Gosh, was it Iron Man 2, I believe, with the Mandarin? I believe it was Iron Man 2 or Iron Man 3. And this was also what Ben Kingsley's character was for. It was to explain what they were like explain away what they were doing with the Mandarin in the past Iron Man movies. They were basically like, yeah, that whole thing was a mistake. So we're gonna go past that moment. Like literally, that's how it is in the movie. It's like, oh yeah, like that was whole acting thing. That was, something that I don't know what was going on there. Let's just focus on Shang-Chi and move on. Like that was the vibe I was getting when they acknowledged the Mandarin in this movie. And even Wen Wu, he even talks about the Mandarin, the character from the movies. And he's like, yeah, why would I ever go as the Mandarin? Like these people are always trying to be me. That was basically the vibe that he was giving off. So I thought that was funny, and that they acknowledged the issue with that. And I thought that they did it it was a very obvious way that they did it, but I wasn't mad at it. I think that overall the script is pretty good. But I have to say that they shoehorn a lot of what I feel is very typical, like tropes and themes in Asian cinema. Like I don't know if it's just me, if I've noticed it. Like they shoehorn a lot in here. So we have the martial arts, we have the crime organization, we have the there's actually a trailer about it, so this isn't a spoiler. We have a dragon. Like, we got to include a dragon in these Asian films, I guess. We have the whole, this isn't really against the movie or anything like that, but we have the whole, being a part of your culture, acknowledging your culture, and going back to your culture thing. Like, that's not a bad thing. I want to make that clear. But combined with all of the other, like, I feel like really typical aspects that we see in Asian films, I'm just like, it's almost like they put as much, it's like, let's put as much Asian tropes and things in here as possible, because who knows if we're going to get like another Marvel movie with the Asian character. Honestly, I feel like if they just focused on just some specific aspects, like the relationship between Simu Liu and his father. Bring us the martial arts, bring us the crime organization, but then they also bring in like the whole fantasy aspect, and that all happens at the end that I do not like. And this is going like straight into the bad now, where, yeah, it feels like there's two separate movies taking place here, where in the first and second acts, we're learning about Shang-Chi, where he goes back to the Ten Rings organization, and that is when I would have liked for them to explore the Ten Rings organization a little bit more. But then we kind of pivot into this whole fantastical aspect of this movie, and now I'm like, we're in a completely different movie at this point. And that is what made me feel like they were really just putting as much as they felt that they needed to put into this movie in order to get people to like it, when I feel like just focusing on a few aspects would have just been perfectly fine. The whole fantasy end just threw me off, and I didn't care for it. I'm not saying that it was necessarily bad, because remember, like I said, the visuals are stunning, and it's that third act where they introduce the fantasy aspects where it is the most visually pleasing to watch. Like, I'm not saying that they did that bad. I'm just saying that I didn't care for it all just being in the same movie. And this is like a very small point, and maybe there's not much to it. I'm very curious to see how it will fit into the MCU, because like this is almost going on to like high fantasy type stuff. Like, there's so much happening in the MCU. Like, we have the cosmos, we have magic, but it's Doctor Strange, Wanda's magic. And now we're getting like full-blown fantasy, and I'm like, this it's just a lot. So I'm very curious to see how Shang-Chi is going to bring all parts of him, from his martial arts background with the Ten Rings to this whole fantasy aspect that they brought in with them. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that. Um, but yeah, this was a real mishmash of different types of tropes and themes, and I just wish there was a little bit more focus, honestly. And I feel like if there was a little bit of focus, then a character like Ming Er's character Xialing, she wouldn't have been ignored if they focused more on that. Um, yeah, that was my biggest issues. My biggest issue with the film, it was just how the script just went further into like the whole fantastical, and it just took me on a completely different ride, and I didn't care for that switch, you know. Overall thoughts, I think that this movie is well worth the watch. It's still in theaters, so definitely check it out in theaters. You want to see it then. It has great scenes, like great fighting scenes and stuff like that. But it does have its flaws, obviously. Um, I hope that for potential sequels, or, you know, once we see Shang-Chi more in the MCU interacting with other characters, we get more of the 10 rings. You know, I would like to see that. And I would like to see characters like Minger. I would like to see Minger's character um, get a bit more involved in the MCU as well. Like, there's potential for her getting her own Disney Plus show. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my review. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out my social media. The link will be below. And you know, let me know what you think of Shang-Chi, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye.